Welcome to the SEO Insider with your host, Seth Price, founder of BluShark, taking you inside the world of legal marketing and all things digital.
Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to have Brett here on another edition of the SEO Insider. Welcome, Brett.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Seth. Always an honor.
We're excited with PubCon coming up. PubCon's been one of those places since I was in the infancy of my practice and then agency, where I sort of come to get my finger on the pulse of what's going on. And I'd just love to start off with, so many tracks, so much stuff going on at PubCon. Right. Walk me through what you're most excited about to see coming up in Vegas.
Well, the last year has been kind of the most exciting time to be in search in about 20 years. People are tuned in to what's going on with AI, what's going on with Bing and Google and OpenAI, especially with their new search engine they just launched. So the big push this year is, what's everybody doing with AI? How are they using it? How are they applying it in their business from start to finish? In years past, when we talked about SEO, it was all about categorizing it, link building, content building, anything you can do to get your rankings up in Google. Now the whole conversation has changed. It's now about generating new content, new ways of using AI to produce new content. And it's almost changed into content marketing more than it is SEO anymore. People really understand they're going to have to build an audience with what Google is doing on the SERPs, taking more share away from clicks to websites, keeping more traffic boxed onto Google. So people are really changing their whole mindset. So it's an exciting time to be in SEO right now.
Look, you've been at the forefront. I know that when we went to Austin, you were like, hey, mantra, every speaker has to have AI laced throughout their presentation. And no doubt, right? It's changing it. Mm-hmm. The jury's out, but looks like AI search is going to be affecting Google in some meaningful way, even though they're including it themselves. My theory is that Google will figure out how to integrate it itself and get much of that market share, that so many people are already using Google. I'm seeing their AI integration where you get the best of both worlds. You get the AI answer, almost taking away the rich snippet, and then you're seeing the traditional search results, which are for many people what you want for particular, at least that's how we've been trained to search.
Right.
But one of the things that I'm seeing, I just having a conversation on the SEO Insider the other day, was that, while AI is great, there are also, landmines to be found. You talk about, search, it's search marketing, it's content marketing, and like content's still king, but that I am now seeing more than anecdotal, but people that go too heavy with AI content, where it's essentially newfangled spinning of content, that Google doesn't want to see that.
No.
They weren't first mover.
No.
They have an interest, and that particularly like in the affiliate space, people who have gone too heavy with AI are paying the price.
Yeah, absolutely. And an interesting note just came out this morning that Google is going to link directly to archive.org pages. I think this is a bit in response to AI, actually. Now they've got this archive of content they can link to, and they don't have to necessarily link to any of the new AI stuff that they're seeing, because it really is becoming ubiquitous. When I can sit here and press a button and register a domain, install WordPress, throw up one keyword, have 1,000 associated keyword list come up, then send those to ChatGPT to generate blog posts, and within an hour, I can have 1,000, 5,000 page on target, on topic, quality website built. What's Google going to do with that? They got to fight back a little bit. And I think endorsing the old web this way by going with archive.org links, they're kind of fighting back against it a little bit. So yeah, Google is
giving themselves a little bit of time to figure this out, right? Because they don't want to bastard. Because if they bastardize their own search results, then they're no better than the competitors.
Absolutely. And it becomes a case of sooner or later, you got AI content being generated that is being indexed by Google, which is being generated. So it becomes almost a race condition where, the dog food is eating the dog, eating itself. So they got to be aware of that sooner or later, entropy comes in. and it just degrades the quality of their search. So,
It's
yeah,
funny, right? Just as you say that, does the sandbox become more meaningful? The idea that a new site as much as they want up-to-date
right.
content, but is there going to be a point where they want to see what does stand the test of time?
Exactly, exactly. And people have noticed that for about the last year that Google isn't indexing quite as fast as they used to, but somehow people are crawling out, a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, they are crawling out of that quote sandbox, which they claim doesn't exist. But we all know if we've launched a new site, we know it does. There's some age to a domain.
No, I put that in the same category as paid search doesn't help. And it's just like, and it reminds me. I was just having this conversation. I love your thought because you've had a couple of years under your belt like myself. That if you go back to the old days, you had newsrooms where there was the news and there was advertising, and they would ring a bell if they came onto the same floor.
Right.
And then I feel like one of the things that Google didn't lost credibility, but they raised their stock price on was allowing paid search within their own platform to affect organic search. And again, it's not talked about a lot. It's sort of denied
Right.
at top level. But to me, that's always been one of those sort of like in a perfect world, if you trusted Google to do no evil, that would
Right.
be one of those things that, look, branded search certainly is making a difference. I'm seeing TV, radio advertisers, billboard players in the B2C space having a significant advantage
Right.
with branded search. It's just ironic when it comes from a monetizable widget of Google itself.
And now that they've moved away from marking ads as ads and changed it to sponsored, the general public doesn't associate sponsored with a paid advertisement. They think, oh, okay, somebody offered to be there. It's a whole different branding, a whole different mindset. And I think a good portion of those clicks over the last year that go on those top sponsored links are accidental clicks. People not really understanding they're clicking on advertising anymore. So they've kind of muddied the waters a bit there.
And look, so let me, given that, do you see, and this is a bigger picture question, where do you see, you're talking about AI as one threat to upsetting the Google Apple cart. Where do you see the antitrust play come in? Is this something that will, at some point, like we saw with Ma Bell, is there going to be a limitation or a breakup, or do you think this is just sort of like posturing that, that they have enough, AI and other things are coming that
Right.
will equalize the playing field?
Well, I was a poli-sci major in college. And so I've been watching this real close. And I'm surprised it got this far, actually. I thought Google had a bit stronger legal team. I thought they would have beat this back a little bit more. But I think it's a toss-up right now. My biggest concern is they're looking at the wrong things. They're looking at this agreement with Apple, and it's got all the flags on it, and they just love talking about this default on the iPhone. But I think if they go that route and break up that agreement, discontinue the default search agreement on the iPhone and iOS devices, if they go that route, I think within a week's time, you have Google putting notices on their homepage. Hey, here's how you make us the default search. Oh, you can't use Safari to use Google anymore. You can't watch YouTube on a Safari device. You can only watch Safari on Chrome. You can't, and Android will get carte blanche to run as they want. Here, all of this content is free. Here, have YouTube Premium for free on Android. And then that'll bring over the iOS people. I don't think Google loses an absolute dime in fact, they'll get 20 billion a year.
I agree with you. That's not really the antitrust issue at hand.
But that's what all they're talking about right now. All the government stuff,
right.
start to finish. That's what they're talking about doing, is canceling that agreement between Apple and Google as the be all end all. And I don't think it is. I think it's a false flag. I think Google does it just to keep themselves involved in Apple's ecosystem, to play nice, to be friends. Because when Google went, they did two things. They went to HTTPS. They required everybody to go to secure, which everybody thinks that was about website security. It wasn't to me. It was about the ISPs filtering YouTube and replacing ads. So they filtered and throttled YouTube. Time Warner tried to get Google to pay them billions of dollars a year to let YouTube run free. Then we came in with the net neutrality, which I also think was about YouTube traffic, because forcing the ISPs to carry YouTube traffic. And then the second thing they did was this mobile first indexing. And they went mobile first indexing really before they needed to go mobile first. And they tried to push everybody onto the phones. What did that do? It put them on Android phones. And then they went to Apple and said, here's 20 billion to keep us front and center on your phones. So I think it was about getting Google front and center. Those are the two big monopolies in my point of view, is Android and YouTube. So if they're going to break them up, they got to break up YouTube, they got to break up Android, and they got to break this somehow with Chrome, which gives them, that's the platform. It's no longer an operating system. The platform was Chrome. So we'll see.
Nobody's gotten high ratings with antitrust talk. So let's pivot.
Right. Exactly.
It hurts your head. It's wrong, but what are you going to do?
But one thing further I'll say, if you're an SEO or a marketer, go read some of these antitrust documents, that Google put in there, the emails they put out. We found out, yeah, they do use click data. Yeah, they have an entire nav boost program about click data. Yes, they count those clicks. Yes, they count user behavior on the SERPs, which we all knew they had to be. They had to be over the years, but there's some just fascinating little nuggets come out of that.
I almost feel like I learned more from some of that than I did from the data dump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Agreed.
So look, I'm so excited for PubCon. It's been a place that I've helped build my own career. What I was saying to you offline was some of the stuff that I learned is not what I expected. Meaning, look, you want local. I love it. I love the local track because that's my passion. The link building sort of blows my mind.
Right.
When you look at some of that stuff. But I've sat in on Trap Hagen's LinkedIn sessions and been like, I just found myself like, what the hell am I doing with my LinkedIn? Talk to me a little bit, because you see everything from 10,000 feet.
Right.
What are some of the things that you think may be the sleeping gems that are sitting, or that are gems that just the public may not know about, where there is great value, to be able to come sit in the room and see some of these incredible thought leaders present?
You brought up LinkedIn. Absolutely right, man. There are people doing great things on LinkedIn. The standard byline for about the last decade was it was overpriced. It took all kinds of time to build, and then when you're done with it, your ads are sitting in a kind of a cesspool of spam out there from different people on LinkedIn.
All of which may be true.
Exactly, but it's producing results. People are getting traffic out of it, and it's converting traffic. Sure, you're paying 3 times as much on LinkedIn as you are on Facebook, and probably 10 times as much as you're paying on Twitter right now. But it's producing results. There's ROI there. There's conversion rates there. It's a targeted market. So yeah, you'll learn that at PubCon. Another thing, things like Amazon. We've got a woman, Robin Johnson, that's going to talk about Amazon ads. And it's like, who's playing Amazon? You think it's just the big players or the foreign players or the Chinese that are playing Amazon? Boy, there's a lot of Americans that are making bank on Amazon. So that's one of the sweet gems. And then there's a couple others like content knowledge graphs. Martha Van Berkel is going to talk about how to use AI and how to use content to build a long-term content marketing program that just works. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of little gems, in-house stuff. The last decade, we've seen this big push from independent SEOs to moving in-house. So there's a lot of people coming out there who now know it inside and out. If you work at all inside of an agency or inside of a corporate, there's little gems in at least half a dozen sessions. So.
Well, that's great, Brett. Anything you want to leave our audience with? I love these sort of like quick. Whenever I speak to you, I'm sort of inspired. I'm going to get to some of these content sessions and make sure that even though that's not my normal track, I think with AI now, it is everything. So sort of bring this conversation full circle that we have.
If you want to know where it's all headed, get on ChatGPT, and then I think you still have to pay the premium, be a subscriber to get into Search GPT, their new search engine. Go check that out and understand that's where Google is headed. Fewer links, fewer traffic direct on the SERPs, but they are there to be found. So that's where it's headed. I think it'd behoove you to go check it out. So,
and I think like everything else, it's and we've seen, as somebody who started in local search, without ads, then with ads, then without map pack, then the map pack, everything's I did a presentation 10 years ago. You're starting at number 7. It's going to get to the point where you're starting at 13. And the question is, how do you make sure that you are where it matters? Because still, as you said, there's stuff that it may be further down the page. It still makes money.
Right. And where Google is headed is, we used to make the joke, the best place to hide a body is on page 2 of Google SERPs. Well, page 2 is going to be the new page 1 in the near future. So.
Well, Brett, can't wait to see you out in Vegas. It should be great, and I'll make sure we get a link in this for anybody who has not yet registered. For me, it's always been, not only can I focus on my core issues out there, but the idea that I can sort of bounce around and see what some amazing minds are working on. That's been what I've loved most about PubCon, is the idea that you have so many things going on at once, and if one session isn't up your alley, you're not wasting that time. That there's great content to be had.
Right. Appreciate you coming out, Seth. Thanks for the time.
Thanks so much. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the SEO Insider with Seth Price. Be sure to check back next week for fresh insights into building your brand's online presence. Episodes are available to stream directly on BluShark Digital's website.